Well, it's time for the daily market summary, and in person today with the folks at agmarket.net and Cory Bratland joining me. Now, I heard it was a little bit of a wild day for soybeans, but everything kind of settled back down close to even. Tell us what happened in those grains today.
Yeah, soybeans started out the day, up a little bit, and then by mid-morning, we've been seeing this flip-flop change, Dustin, where the beans will start out lower or higher, and by mid-morning we flip-flop. And so, kind of what we're hearing in the marketplace is that there might be a few setbacks as far as President Trump, President Xi's upcoming meeting. I believe it's in April. So there's just some political issues there causing the market to back up. But boy, it seems like these beans lately, what we've been seeing is they get down 8, 9, 10 cents. Seems like the funds are in there, what we feel like is in supporting this market. So, now they end up back, so far here on the day, they're still down about, 3, 4 cents, but, we were down 10, 12 earlier. So, and corn market, quite frankly, had been, 2, 3 cents higher this morning, went lower with the news on the possible breakdown in the meetings here with China, but then now let's come back. It's going to end up, around a half a cent to a penny higher.
Well, that really illustrates the whole fact that soybeans have really taken it on the chin since this whole dispute with China started up again last year. And the industry had said many times that we can do this for the good of the economy, but we can't do it long. And here we are after a year of it, and it's still taking its toll and very volatile, where just any little bit of news is changing the market really quickly.
Yeah, no, it sure is. So.
All right, so the livestock side of things in cattle and hogs, how did they fare today?
Yeah, cattle under some pressure here. Just kind of hearing, seeing live cattle down, $3.5. Feeder cattle down, close to $5, maybe a little more than that. So just hearing maybe a little weaker cash trade. Also kind of hearing some of the cash feeder prices out in the country have definitely softened up here. So I'm kind of looking for a cash market just to kind of overall weaken up a little bit. And quite frankly, we've had a pretty good run here in these cattle. They got back a lot what they lost here a few months ago. Now we're just kind of running out of some bullish news right now, so a lot of cattle are starting to maybe hit this market as cattle start coming off of some of the wheat and whatnot down south. So hog market in here, end of the day, probably about 30 to 50 cents lower there. So they ran into a little bit of some technical selling here. So we had that big $10, $12 sell-off. We've gotten back about 65, 68% of that retracement so far. So we're just finding some little bit of selling in here in these hogs.
Now, we've also heard that JBS is voting today, their workers, on whether or not they are going to strike. We'll know later on tonight. How much that's putting pressure on that cattle market right now?
Yeah, that's another good point. That potential strike is definitely going to cause a little bit of turmoil. So that's, you got some money kind of flow just going to the sidelines.
All right, well, if folks want to start looking at some of their options, I know you guys are here at Commodity Classic. For our viewers who might be here still lit tomorrow, what's the best way for them to get a conversation started if they can't be here or if they are here?
Yeah, if you're here, stop on by booth 3363. We're going to be here all day tomorrow again on Friday, and then otherwise head on over to our website, Dustin, which is agmarket.net.
All right, Cory Bratland's been with us here from agmarket.net on the Daily Market Summary. We'll be back on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I don't know why I said that, but anyway.